We're back to the WCS Winter, America's Open Qualifier. Let's say, okay, we gotta sit up. Everybody sit up. I see you with your terrible posture, okay? Don't hunch over. Chick-fil-A. A nice tasty dinner. These guys have played each other, and, well, they've met, I'm sure, in person many times, and also dope water. Not sure that's I assume that's a good thing. Kids these days. Lasagna. That's the lasagna. I know. No, that one's ambiguous enough that people are going to think I'm actually that dumb. Lasagna and salad? That is a confusing combination. I got to comment on that. Like, lasagna, it's a completely... Those things don't feel like they mix. Which one do you eat first? The salad? I guess you eat the salad. You can't eat the salad after the lasagna. Because that just doesn't make any sense. But... Alright, now that we've established a lot of backstory, what kind of sustenance these players have had, obviously very healthy, Chick-fil-A and lasagna, but also a salad. Slathered with Hidden Valley Ranch. Future going for a factory, but he's hiding it. But why? Usually the factory would be at the front, slapped onto a reactor for Hellions. Future is one of the best players, especially one of the best North American players. Well, let's do the formal introductions. I forgot about that part. I've casted these guys so many times. In the bottom right, the best Terran player in America. I say that with a little question mark at the end, but I think pretty decisively so. It's Future from Infinity Gaming. And in the top left from Psystorm Gaming, the best Zerg player from America. And that one's pretty decisive. It's Jon Snow. So really the best Protoss is neither. So in case you were wondering. Future, one of the best players at early harass, controlling all these different types of units, getting damage done. So I'm still a little confused as to what this build is. Because he's got the reactored barracks, but he's also going to go Cloak Banshee. It almost feels like he's trying to fake him out into thinking this is a 2-1-1. But will it work? Oh, no. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. So that's a disaster. The entire point of not going for the Hellions was to make Jon Snow think, okay, you're going for that barracks push. Like, I don't need spore crawlers. All I need are some extra queens in the front, maybe a bunch of lings. And now Future's like, well, I guess we're going Hellions because he scouted everything. Jon Snow definitely gets an edge off that scenario. Banshee's on the way. Lair coming up. Does he call his bluff? This is not a bluff. Future is going for the Cloak Banshee. The Reaper actually gets in and scouts the lair. There's no spore crawlers on the... Like, this was so obvious, it seems like Jon Snow may have not recognized how committed he would be. The spores should be done right around the time Cloak finishes. But it seems like Jon Snow kind of expected the maybe not a huge commitment to Banshee. I don't know. I'm reading into it a little too much. Oh, the wall shuts down the lings at the last second. Not that he has a huge issue with that. Cloak is done. Jon has been allowed through this delayed build. He's been allowed to go up to 50-something drones. Oh, yeah, this is not what Future wanted from his Banshee. Death. But the Hellions find an opportunity. That's 4 drones right off the bat. 5 and counting. That's 6. I'm great at counting. Does he get double digits? He does. Okay, well, 11 drones for a Banshee and 4 Hellions. Now, it's good, but you gotta consider a few other things. There's already a lair done. John wasn't at like 40 drones down to 30. He went from 50-something down to 40 and immediately remade them. The timing of the drone kills really does matter. The problem for Future is the kills were not quick enough to really slow down the tech progression of John. He's going to have to spend a little time remaking the drones, but it's not nearly as big a deal as if this had happened before a lair was done or something like that. It is going to be mech behind. Kind of a mediocre start to go mech off of, but you gotta go somewhere, and going bio in this scenario, that would be a whole nother tech switch. Well, not really switch, but progression that he doesn't really have time for. And also, Cairo's Junction is a map if you can lock down 4 bases pretty easily, which does help mech out a significant amount. Mostly because of these choke points and the rocks on the 3rd and 4th. Even this little pillar here, that little World of Warcraft arena pillar humping area. I was a resto druid, okay? I know all about that. that can stack units up for siege tanks and Hellions and stuff along those lines. Baneling speed is done. The upgrades, no upgrades at all. There is an armory, right? Oh, is he not gonna make an armory? Did he forget the armory, or is this like just all-out attack timing? There is no armory. Uh-oh. The upgrades are gonna start to get a little out of hand. Now mech upgrades are not as necessary as bio, but because of the sheer power of units, like Blue Flame Hellions are gonna counter Zerglings pretty well no matter what, unlike Marines against Banelings, stuff like that. But it appears Future is powering up the mechanical industrial complex in full swing. He's going to just be this. Okay, now he's getting double armory. This is a little confusing. It feels like Future's a bit off this game so far. By that I mean he hasn't been able to put on the pressure he wanted to put on, leaving him in an awkward spot trying to figure out where to go forward. He has a supply lead. Here comes an attack, but John, he has 77 drones. He just started his +2 and, well, +1 ranged attack. Hydra's on the way. The one thing he's missing is a possible expand to the north. 5 swarm hosts are on the way. Especially, well, there's a handful of Vikings. How many Vikings? 4 Vikings. Not enough to shut down the Locust. This attack looking pretty scary. Baneling speed is done. The swarm hosts are in production, but Future may have found the timing here. The Ling's trying to run up. The Blue Flame Hellions doing a great job against him. A few tanks coming down. That last gasp of creep gonna be enough to connect with the Hellions. Where are the swarm hosts to back this up? He doesn't have vision on the high ground. Okay, but swarm hosts have joined the field. A handful more Banelings coming through. Future really laying on the pressure here. A Vikings on the ground. The swarm host, though, the Locusts, they're dropping. He's going to be able to get the tanks on the top. Ling streaming to the front. Hellbat's not going to be nearly enough. The Banshee's at the back. Future thinning out here as John holds on to all of his economy, his bases, and really all his key units, which are mostly the swarm hosts and the queens. It's not over yet. A few more tanks moving up. Remember, Future has no upgrades. It doesn't get better from here on out. He has to keep pushing. Kills 3 queens. Now, the swarm hosts are on cooldown. There are no locusts. Future has to go forward. He has no other choice. There's no follow-up. There's no 4th base. If he doesn't keep putting pressure on John, John's eventually going to overwhelm him. He's still pushing through. The hatchery getting dangerously low. The swarm host micro isn't perfect. Well, the locust micro, rather, as the Hellbats will stack some of it up. But the round of Hellbats is taken out. Those armor upgrades really coming through. Another tank targeted down. The Hydra trying its best, not trying hard enough. Future continues to push through. It's 67 versus 73 workers. John has expanded to the center, but this base looks like it will fall. A lot of supply is invested in these swarm hosts, and if they're on cooldown, it's essentially like he doesn't have it. How many swarm hosts? 13. 39 of the army supply is in swarm hosts, which means without the locusts, Future has a bigger army. Future got damage done. I'm still, like, I keep saying, like, Future has to keep the pressure on. There's no way he can let these swarm hosts be aggressive. That's a downward spiral. Despite how much it looks like Future is moving forward, it's going to get worse and worse if he's not able to keep the swarm host back. It's going to start now. The 4th base could be canceled or killed. Hydras, Lynx, and Banes moving through. 1-1 just now starts for Future. The swarm hosts are on cooldown. Locust 20 seconds out, so he has to bide his time. But the creep spread has been reestablished. John on top of it. The worker count's still 78. Future might find an opportunity. Okay, now this is a problem. These tanks are going to be in a nasty position here. The swarm host almost off cooldown, but that base is essentially isolated and killed. Future does not have a 4th. He was planning on this being his 4th, but he got the command center canceled. But the swarm hosts are being negated quite well so far. Future making the moves he needs to make. 1-1 is going to be finishing up soon, and that'll draw the upgrades closer. Is there a hive? There is a hive done. A spire's on the way, but Future is actually bullying around the map here. Now we're on creep. The tanks will siege. A wave of locusts is coming in. The Viking's not quite in position to deal with it. He's got to micro those locusts to drop the splash damage. Hydra's from the north. He's going to drop the locusts down on top of the tanks. That's a much better engagement. But Future continues to push through. There's another wave of locusts, though. This is exactly what he needed. Coming in with another round. 1-2 tanks to the front, going to go down. The other one's unsieged. The Hydra's crushing through. John finally found his opportunity, and he took full advantage of it. Future desperately trying to remake a 4th base. Those Hydras, they do have their speed and range, but on their own, they're going to require some protection. Cyclones and Hellions can easily turn on them. Future sending some Liberators out. Going to try to draw John's attention away. The Swarm hosts now have potentially an opportunity to go forward. They're going to be scouted. The Cyclones could kill some of them. This is not where they want to be. The Locust will drop down. That'll force it back. He'll kill a couple Swarm hosts. Those Cyclones pretty squishy as well. The Greater Spire's coming up, but Future has survived thus far. How many workers went down to the Liberators? It looks like he lost some mining time. It's Liberator doing its best. This is Future trying to buy time. He knows more tech is on the way. The only reason... Very sad, Locust. The only reason that John is not continually attacking him now is because he's investing in a higher level of tech, which is usually Broodlords. Those Cyclones in an awkward spot. They're so squishy. But the Hydras are as well. Glass cannons on either side. Need that buffer. How long on the Locust? A couple seconds. A lot of Hydras have already melted. The Locust will pop, but they take a second. John trying to work his way through. This Locust wave is dangerous. There's not a planetary here to backstop this. A couple Banelings. Cyclone Hellion not so great against the Locust on the open field. More Cyclones gonna die. Future dips to 107 supply. And the cost efficiency of John's army is now becoming very important to note. Cost efficiency because, well, he's going to be making free units across the board. A few more Hellions. Future is trying to put more time on the clock. He's trying to make it so he can safely get to, well, he can counter Broodlords. His 2-2 is coming up. He's bought some time with the Liberators and Hellions, but it's cost him his Liberators and Hellions. A huge Locust wave. John is now hitting a couple angles. This 4th base is essentially gone. A lot of SCVs will go with it. Well, Zerglings are working their way through. Does he have Adrenal Glands? He doesn't, but he has +3. The SCVs are crumbling. Future down to 40 workers. The Lings find their way through. Get a Hellion. 8 Broodlords on the way. Wait, where are they? Where are you, Broodlords? Okay, I found them. Liberator's gonna try to find an opportunity. He's sending him out once again. He's trying to put time on the clock. John's maxed out, though. Future's desperately trying to mine. But from where? There we go. Well, I believe he just saw the Broodlord somewhere. That explains a lot. Either a scan or they moved to the army, but I almost guarantee you that The Broodlords were scouted, and he knew that was it. John holds on. Future, honestly, the hero, the Zergling. The Zergling. If that Zergling hadn't gotten in and forced Future to kind of go back on his build, then Jon Snow might have committed to the wrong units. He might not have been able to get the economy. He probably wouldn't have been able to get the economy because he would have misread it. But guess what? That Zergling got in. It saw everything, and Future essentially just did his build, but was 30 seconds plus late. And that's enough to get another 10 drones. So now we go to game 2. John up 1-0. Here we go. Parasite. It appears that that extra salad is paying off here. Salad, lasagna, and salad. Greater than Chick-fil-A. That's what we've found out thus far. But can Future bring it back? Let's find out. Thank you. It is a best of 3. The winner of this moves on to face the winner of Neeb and probably No Regret. Which, oh, I need to jump into that one. Hopefully we have time to catch that match or those matches, depending on how long it takes. As we're getting down to it in the bracket, the top 6 qualify. Is this a CC first? Do it. No. Aw. I wanted a CC first. High economy game. John is definitely more of a macro player. I've seen him all in a handful of times, but if he can get to 70 drones, if he can get to 4 bases, he's usually feeling pretty good, especially with those queens and creep spread. Future just being 30 plus seconds behind on his whole build, and not to mention the upgrades. I feel like I overhype how important upgrades are, but they're so important. They're definitely one of the things that high bronze / low platinum players don't realize how important they are to have. And their Future being down, like, a mech army really benefits from having, especially Cyclone Hellion. The armor upgrades are really nice. And if you don't have them, then you just can't really go toe-to-toe with any units. You have to take an uneven fight where you're winning, but if you're already down that many workers, you're not winning. So John actually went for a pull first, by the way. I didn't even point it out. The thing is, Future has already kind of countered this. This is a long air distance map. So the Overlord is not going to see the fact that's a wall, right? Well, it is definitely a wall now. So this pull first has already been kind of preemptively shut down. 6 Lings will not kill the factory, right? Yeah, he has a Marine. So Future hasn't seen the Lings yet, I don't believe. I don't think he got quite in range. I don't know about that. He can lift it. But whoa, 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 whoa! Well, that is real unfortunate. RNGesus decided that Future did not need those SCVs, so a bit of karma there. As both of them get stuck on the outside of the building as it finishes. And that means, well, that almost, like, he could have just lost the game or gotten close to it. So a little bit of revenge. Gonna kill, well, one of the Overlords. A Hellion comes out, should be able to finish the rest of the Lings. Future chasing. Oh. Future being chased, rather. It's gonna be Mech again. He's looking for overlords. Did he kill the first one? He did. So John gonna be in kind of an awkward spot. The Hellion, the scouting Hellion. It's Battle Cruiser! And even got 2 drones with the scouting Hellion. So, not a bad situation to start for Future. He's going to be able to establish his base safely. John not going to have the greatest economy because he did go pool first. Well, John may be going for the counter build, which is to kill him before the battlecruiser shows up, but he doesn't know about it. The barracks was floated to make sure that no overlords are going to get a scout. Future has the money. He's going to start his battlecruiser at the perfect time. 420. Okay, it's a little earlier, but whatever. 1 tumor taken out. Oh, is he going to commit? He's going deep in the paint. There is no speed. John kind of cut the Zergling speed out of the mix here. And right now, he doesn't know it, but he can't really afford to be losing many drones. The battle... Oh, I love that! The hold position... Gonna deny a little bit more micro potential, but the thing is, roaches are in production. You know what doesn't counter battlecruisers very well? Roaches. John looks like he's only gonna make enough to deflect here, which is an important part of defending cruisers, but there are 4 queens. Spore crawlers on the way. A couple more Hellions coming in. Roach speed, yeah, he's building a lot of roaches. I have no idea what the reaction is going to be. Now, John is down in workers against a Terran who's building a 3rd CC in battle cruisers. Is it time? Where are you going? Where are you going with it? Directly to the main. Unfortunately, there's a spore there. Good reaction time, but he's already queued up some drone kills. Gonna work on the queen. Isolate it. The Hellion's going to work. This isn't the end of the world quite yet. Yamato cannon is completed. It's gonna blast through. Well... You know what? Justice reigns from above. There's a couple bunkers at home. He's producing Marines. A tank is on the way. And I think that Future has successfully... Well, John doesn't know it yet. Once that tank starts firing, I think that's about that. Once he sees the tank, then... What is there left to do? As John is down to 33 workers, he's not getting through this. Like the battlecruiser, doesn't have. Oh, it gets taken down by a spore. So wait a second. A bit sloppy there. I mean, it got taken down by a spore after getting a couple dozen drone kills and like 5 queens, but taken down. Giving John a tiny bit of breathing room here, but he's walled off the rest of his roaches with his Ravager Egg. The second battlecruiser is out. He can just use it for defense. That battlecruiser dying means that John doesn't leave this game yet. That's essentially where we're at right now. There's still a dream. John has, like, we've seen, if you remember his match against Kiwion, and on this map in particular, he's played some longer games. And he's played games where he was behind significantly against a Terran, but... Oh, I am very hard-pressed to say that John has a viable position here. Future is crossing his T's, dotting his I's, and not salvaging his bunkers. Oh my. Ooh. Yeah. And the Yamato. Blast the Ravager from downtown. And it could teleport at any time. Will it? Make it so. No? He's just gonna fly it across. That works too. 3 battle... He scans. He's like, yep, we're good to go. 3 battle cruisers at a time. 2 command centers. Future's having fun with it. John? Still no armories. He's definitely needs to get his armories quicker. Yeah, there you go. But How does he stop one battle cruiser, let alone 4? This is like defeating the final boss and then having to beat 4 of him when you're nearly dead. It's like, now you've got the Elite 4. Bring in the best! Bring in the support! There it is! The cruisers jump into the battle! He's trying to hold on. More Hydras in production. Does he even have +1? He Yamato's the Spore. He's just gonna fly right over the rest. Another Yamato for the Queen at the back. Hydra's trying. The battle cruiser jumps away! The laser batteries are far too much. John is dipping even further in supply. More Hydras come up. More Hydras go out. You can't explain that. Another Spore Crawler. Wait, not another. What? Not even close. 4 HP in a dream. He's out of there. What a save! John is, to his credit, I guess, not giving up. He's gonna try to outbuild the amount of drones that the battle cruisers are killing. He's lost 28 thus far, but he's still at 64. Future's taking a 4th. I believe he has a 5th command center somewhere. Yep, over here. 16 kills. Oh my god, he's got a 22 and a 4 HP battle cruiser. Less HP than a drone between them. A Spire and a Hive. So John, not dead yet. I'm still wondering what it will take. He didn't... The battle cruisers did not win the game. The Hive is scouted, which means Future should be getting aggressive pretty soon. Oh my. Who called in the fleet? There are 7 battle cruisers against 6 Hydras. Now, I'm not an expert, but I don't think that's enough Hydras. He's building Corruptors. And Yamato doesn't one-shot Corruptors, but it gets close. Wait, it does one-shot Corruptors. It does 240 damage, right? Am I right? I don't know. Something like that. We'll find out very soon, I think. The scan. John trying so hard. Trying to get out of Yamato range. The Hellbats are working through. The battle cruisers have essentially free reign. Okay, yeah, it does 240. That's how math works. Oh, the infestation pit is under fire! Everything is melting. He's about to have 1-1 done. More Yamatos from downtown. The Hydra's trying their best. Their best, not nearly good enough. Future ties it up 1-1. Let's be honest, that was trending one direction for quite a while. Future getting the better end of the builds early on, especially with the pool first. So pool first is great for denying bases or doing early damage. But the counter is just building a wall so the Zerglings can't get in at your natural. So Future taking advantage of that. Smartly done. We're on match point to determine who faces the winner of Neeb and No Regrets. And now, another question. Who won No Regret or the shoe he was supposed to eat? Has he eaten that shoe yet? Well, wait. Foxer beat No Regret. I take it back. Neeb and Foxer. I don't know what happened there. Foxer pretty solid. I'm kind of surprised, but No Regret is playing from Korea. And maybe his designated pressures weren't high pressure enough. I just assumed. Never, don't sleep on Foxer. Any second now. We're waiting. I was just zoning out. Like, what's happening? No, we're waiting in a lobby and nobody pressed the start button. Port Alexander. Now, you know what? I'm not even going to say anything. I'm not even going to try to predict this match at all. Because I'm going to ruin it if I do. I know I will. It'll ruin it. So this could be a match of StarCraft, and I can confidently say it. In the bottom right, for our size Storm Gaming, the American Zerg player, Jon Snow. And in the top left for Infinity Gaming, Future. I believe Future is 17? 16 or 17 now. Something like that. And let me bring up, now if you haven't followed him on Twitter, Future of Terran on Twitter, he has some very creative, well, he is a, well, let's put it this way, he's a creative meme lord. Creating such things as this recent gem. And there's more where that came from. So even if you don't want to follow him for winning a bunch of tournaments or games or matches, well, there's more than meets the eye. John going for the hatch first this time. Future building the barracks in his base. Looks like we're starting off in the classic pattern. Port Alexander is... I still don't know how I feel about the map. There are some pretty nasty tank positions, but those aren't used so much in this matchup because, like, I'm talking about like early 2-base pushes where you can use tanks in TVT and TVP. Doesn't really factor in so much in TVZ because usually a Zerg player already has their third established. At the same time, for Zerg, you have a lot of options for expanding. Like, you can expand up towards the north or towards the left side. There is a lot of airspace, but if you have Overlord coverage, usually drops aren't such a threat. Will Future fall back onto the Bio Army, or does he go for the mech again? He obviously felt comfortable enough with the Battlecruiser Hellion last game. I like to see it work, I'll be honest. Third Command Center. So playing extra greedy again. John does have a third. So as long as Hellions don't get in or the first starport unit or two doesn't do critical damage, neither player really has the option of truly threatening their opponent early on. So where will this leave us? The real questions are... Kind of a weird jump angle there. The questions are... Does John react to what Future is doing, or is he proactive? As in, does he try to go for a timing attack like speed roaches, or like 2-base? Well, not really 2-base Spire. What am I saying? What are my words saying? I don't... None of this is making... It's making sense, but it's taking way too long to say what I'm trying to say. The summary is, does he scout what Future is doing and use that? Oh my god. Or does he have a plan that he's going to stick with pretty much no matter what? The Overlord going to get in? Wasn't there a third command center somewhere? It's gone. He canceled it. Instead, he decided... Oh, the starport was scouted by John. Instead, he decided he's going for the battlecruisers. I appreciate that choice. Oh, wait, you can wall off this area? I need to stop talking. Now, unfortunately, my entire job is talking, but I'm feeling really dumb as I say my words. More queens are on the way. A decent counter. Like, you don't really kill the battlecruiser. You can't kill the battlecruiser. No, unless they make a big mistake. But you can essentially deflect it and prevent it from doing damage. It's a massive investment. So... if there's enough queens to keep the battlecruiser from really killing drones or slowing down the economy, then Jon Snow's in an okay spot. But if the battlecruisers or Hellions or anything start really putting out the damage... Oh, does he run by? He caught a glimpse of the Zerglings. Now a true third command center is on the way for Future. Well, the Hellions looking for an opportunity to go to the high ground. They will cancel one of the... Well, they will destroy one of the creep tumors. Where are the Lings? Battlecruiser nearing completion. And the question is, where does it go? Does he have a scan? No, not yet. He jumps to the back of the natural. The Queen's going to be dragged out of position. He's got to be careful not to bring all of them. The battlecruisers are already going to work. The Spore Crawler helping out. All the Queens are coming back. John, come on, the bait and switch. We've got to be so careful about that. He knows about the Hellions. They're trying to come in. He baited out the Zerglings. The Zerglings, why are they at the third? John, come back. He's going and looking for drones. The battlecruiser's still in position. Drones trying to body block. A bunch have gone down thus far. That's 10 so far. And counting. These battlecruisers putting on so much pressure. John at 46 workers. He's lost 10. And he doesn't really have a lair. He doesn't really have a lair. Well, he doesn't have a lair. Whatever. Doesn't really have a... He doesn't have a lair yet. He just started it. Very simple. Not hard. What? Oh my god, the Queen's on an intercept course. There's no tactical jump. The Queen flag. Randolph, take him down. And they do. A huge win there. And wait a second. And the Lings are getting in. Wait a second here. John, able to take 2 big victories very quick. The Ling's doing a lot of damage. I think they got a surround on a couple Hellions. And he takes down the battlecruiser with the roaming Queen death squad. And a full scout of the main. So what looked to be a tough situation has turned completely on its head on the back of the Queens. Future now going to find himself, well, he's forced to play defensive. He no longer can assert nearly as much map control as he could with more battlecruisers. Lings are coming in again. The worker count for John is starting to get out of control. A Spire is on the way. +1 ranged attack to complement the +1 melee weapons and Carapace. John has done everything right. For a minute there, Future was picking him apart. But now John has turned that around. These Lings keep getting in. Now, it's not... Future still has a decent economy, but they just keep coming, and they don't stop coming. The Lings are in again. The battlecruiser desperately trying to defend. Now he's killed 10 SCVs. Well, 11 SC, 13 SCVs. But they just keep coming. And they're Lings in the net. They're everywhere. This one Ling, how many kills does it have? 5 kills. What a hero. What an absolute unit. A Zergling, in fact. What a guy. So Future has now lost 23 Lings, pretty much only to Zerglings. I mean, 23 SCVs. Oh, I give up. And the battlecruisers jump to the main. Now, this is a dangerous timing. He Yamato's the Spire. He might actually be able to kill it. The Corruptors are coming out, but they just started. He's going to kill the Spire. It was made in the most obvious position. Future doing some counter damage here. The Corruptors are in the mail, but 9 Corruptors, I don't know if they're quite enough to take down the battlecruisers. Does he have armor? He does not. Morling, well, Roach is trying to get in now, but those are upgraded Cyclones. They do have mag field accelerator. The Corruptors should be on the chase soon. If he can chase down these battlecruisers, that gives him a lot more of a potentially winning position. Has he rebuilt? He rebuilds the Spire. The infestation pit is nearly complete. How many Cyclones on the deck? 5. The battlecruisers are... Well, they'll have tactical jump soon, so they're no longer in danger of being sniped off. So Future did a significant amount of return damage by sniping the Spire. There's now 3 battlecruisers. You got to be careful. Well, if the battlecruiser count simply gets too high, did Future for the 3rd game in a row, Future definitely should have had an armory quicker. I can say that decisively. He gets his 2 armories at the 10-minute mark. That is way too late, and it's going to come back to bite him. His +2 Carapace is already finishing for John. He's going to need to rely on these incredibly cost-effective units in battle cruisers and Cyclones and Hellions. The problem is John already has most of the tech he needs to defend. Fungal, Great against Cyclones, and also prevents tactical jump on the battlecruisers, on top of doing damage. Potentially Neural Parasite. I mean, if you can't beat them, why don't you just hire them? And, of course, Hive. Means that Broodlords are on the horizon, and Vipers as well. What Future does have going for himself, he has 5 factories, 2 starports, 4 bases. The Yamatos will blast a few Corruptors away. He's going to trade it out. Going for the Queen. Will hunt her down, maybe target down some drones. He can jump away. Jumps home, back to the shipyard. Target down a Queen. The Fungal! The Fungal prevents the jump, but only for the duration. John, okay, so the big risk here for John is overextending. He's got everything he needs. He's going to have 5 bases, 75 drones. Hive tech is done. He has to be careful about not losing all these key units. He doesn't have a massive economy. He doesn't have a bank. So you can't be losing a bunch of Queens or Corruptors or anything like that. How many Queens is that? Oh, my God. The battlecruiser count is up to 4. With 2 more in production, he's leaning into the battlecruisers here, which might be the best way to deal with the Broods if there's simply not enough Corruptors. Brenda, why are all these people in front? I can't see anything. You don't need to see anything. Why does it matter? I don't know. The Hellions in position to potentially do some counter damage. The slow push begins. Greater Spire most of the way done, so there will be no Broodlords with this. The Hellions come in for a counterattack, but the Lings are already on top of them. They will be burnt down. This is not a planetary. Those are just, well, it's just an orbital command. The tank's doing a lot of damage. The Hellions, well, the Hellbats now walking their way in. Zerglings are not going to be enough to stop this. Yamato volley across the table. He's already doing a lot of damage. The Cyclone's on top of the Queen. More Yamatos coming out. The tanks at the back shelling from afar. The Hellbats going to work. The tactical jump getting the battlecruisers the hell out of dodge. The Queens, they've got massive joint pain off a creep. And suddenly, the supply plummets for the Zerg player. This was the biggest... This is exactly as I described. Overextending just a little too early. He could have had the Broods. He could have had Vipers. But he jumped the gun. And now the battlecruisers will survive. He'll kill some extra SCVs. But the Greater Spire! The Greater Spire! The Greater Spire! Is no longer inspired. And the battlecruisers are coming across the map. He has to rebuild Infestors for anti-air. Infestors don't last that long against battlecruisers. In future, turning things around, Albright himself ahead of him. The battlecruisers, some of them in disrepair. John had a buffer. He was mostly the attacker, which means he had some time to rebuild. Yeah, these battlecruisers need to go home. They need to go back to the shipyard. John grabs a few tanks and Cyclones. The Fungal from downtown, he can't jump away. It's off cooldown, he can chain it, he does! Another cruiser, and another one. The infested Terran, continuing forward. The Swarm on top of everything. Another battlecruiser falls. He's down to 4. It looks like a few more finished production. Another Yamato comes out. He can jump away. Actually, the battlecruiser is fine on its own. 120 supply for John, well, now 135, and, well, you can read. Future holding on, but he's at 1-1 against 2-2 plus 3 ranged attack, which also affects the infested Terrans, is about to complete. John, well, Future has the outright stronger army. John has the staying power. He has the Infestors, which will get more and more value over time as long as he keeps them alive. Queens are cheap. Lings are cheaper. Hellions looking for an opportunity. Killing drones might not seem like a huge deal when your opponent has 83, but if you can get damage, if you can even distracting your opponent can be a huge part of this now. Neural Parasite is done. He might be able to steal the battlecruisers. Nothing counters battlecruisers quite like battlecruisers. Okay, well, right now, Future and everyone else realizing Blue Flame was not researched. The main base hasn't been lifted yet, which means not quite desperation. Oh, you gotta be careful! He scans the Infestors. Okay. If he's able to neural and use all the abilities, then those battlecruisers are done. Gonna get all the creep, but he's gotta be very careful that he does not get nabbed. The third Spire of the game will finish morphing into a greater one. Everybody calms down for a sec. And it's just ship weapons. There's no mech weapons, which means the tanks and Hellions not as great as they could be. Still quite good against Zerglings. Well, Zerglings, they don't have adrenal glands, so a bit of an oversight by John here. Good enough to kill those tanks, though. The Infestors, how many does he have? 17! But are they Winfestors? I don't think he spotted the battlecruisers. Future's getting into position, but the battlecruisers are the real brunt of this attack. A counterattack out of John. The SCVs pulled to fight. The boys once again find themselves on the front lines. The battlecruisers raining down laser destruction at the same time as infested Terrans trying to grind through a tank line. The Infestors so far out of position, though. These tanks will stay intact. The counter damage was decent, but not incredible, as the Lings will eventually be cleaned up. Still 57 SCVs for Future, and the real issue are the battlecruisers. He needs to steal the cruisers. He needs the neural parasites, and he needs them. He jumps, and he jumps to the other side. The quick bait and switch. The Infestors ping-ponging around. The counterattack comes through again, killing some more SCVs. Base is falling literally left and right here for Jon Snow. He needs... Well, he just used the tactical jump. This might be the moment. He needs to get on top of the battlecruisers. He's got another minute or so until the cooldown is up. A scan spots the Infestors. He knows it's a threat, but there's no direct counter if he gets within range. Oh, well, of course, tanks are quite a good counter. He steals a cruiser. Can he steal more? He takes a couple. Gonna continue moving forward. The Corruptor's going to work. He needs another scan. Where's the scan? Where's the scan? He doesn't see the Festers. He gets the scan now, but the infested Terrans across the board. He's gonna take the cruisers off the map. All of them falling. No jumps available and no cruisers. Well, 2 left in the sky. The Queen's caught off a creep. The Infestors once again. A bloodbath. Carnage. 138 to 149 supply. The Corruptor's on the chase. Tactical jump still some seconds out. He's gonna be taken down, but the Hellions chasing down the Infestors. Infested Terrans desperately trying to block. The oh-so-valuable Infestors forced to burrow again, but easily taken out. John, he needs... Where is his economy? He has the drones. He's got some random Corruptors. But how does he stop the ground army? 2 more battlecruisers to the north. John has a base starting in the south. He's a refugee Zerg right now. He doesn't know where to go. The battlecruisers can be countered, but nothing on the ground. He has a greater spire. He needs broodlords. Broodlords are required. The tactical jump to the south. Future continues. He's tearing through all the creep. The base to the north was taken out. Jon Snow desperately trying to find some anti-air. Fungals connect with the Hellions. A handful of Banelings. The Hellbats transform. 3-3 is about to finish. 2 broodlords are not gonna stop this. The battlecruisers continue forward. A tiny Zergling counterattack will help, but not nearly enough. Another Spire will be targeted. The battlecruisers look like they'll go down. The 2 broodlords are gonna hold on. John is desperate. He's trying to hold whatever he can, but he has next to no bases. The Zerglings killed so many SCVs. He's down to 44. There's no anti-air. The Greater Spire is done, but 2 broodlords have held the line just long enough for John to stabilize. That Zergling killed so many SCVs. The tanks are stuck in a weird position. I think the tanks might actually be able to win this fight. The Corruptor's providing a lot of encouragement from the sky. John turns it around again. Future's down to 105 supply. Everybody calm down. Now uncalm yourself. We're going again. The high impact Thor is looking to have a very high impact on this game. The upgrades are suffering. He has +2 mech armor, no mech weapons, so all those ground units are left unable to do particularly much damage against the now 3-3 across the ground. All attack upgrades, all carapace upgrades. These top tier, the best Terran and the best Zerg in America putting on a show. A scrappy one. Future is still holding on. He's got mules and relying on the cost efficiency of these mech units. Swarm hosts are on the way. I feel like John looked at his larva and was like, what can I actually build? Still no Vipers. 1 or 2 Vipers might be able to help out. He doesn't really have the gas. Still at 64 drones. 88 versus 69 worker kills. Infestor's still incredibly... He's... I think he has to give this base up. Are there still Broodlords? There are 2 Broodlords. Oh, God. It's so risky. This is so risky! But he steals a Thor. There are tanks on the high ground, though. He steals all the Thors! The Zerg Thors! Are they enough, though? The swarm hosts come out. The Thors are all turned back. John trying to hold the line. The tank on the high ground desperately doing its best. The Locust coming in. The Corruptors also very, very encouraging. But Future starting to crumble. The Roaches and Ravagers will chase down the Thors. The Locust looming overhead, doing what the Corruptors could not. Trying to target down another one. The reinforcements coming through. Retreating to the planetary. He loses 1. He's gonna lose 2. The last Thor. The final backstop here for the Terran army. John has consolidated his position. He's gotten 2 bases back up. He still has the drone count to maintain them. Future needs to do something fast. He no longer has the battle cruisers to use for, well, to use for mobility. Thor's one of the least mobile units in the entire game, especially without, like, medevacs for them to tuck their little legs into. And the swarm hosts are going to start raining down the locusts. It's not over yet, but Future needs something to happen soon. He starts another battle cruiser. The bases are starting to mine out. He's literally and partially figuratively out of gas on many of them. The planetary must hold. Corrosive Biles raining down, not really connecting on the Thors. He holds for now. A handful of Roaches working through the depots. While the supplies may tell one story, this game is not nearly as over as it looks. A lot of the supply is in Corruptors still. There's also the drone lead. Future. Now, one more fight. 1 base lost, and the game is over. The upgrades really... every game this series have hurt badly. But Cyclone's looking for an opportunity. He's going to drag the army back, but every unit is costly. He may be able to target down one of the bases with the caustic spray. It's gone. There's no stopping that. The Thor's caught out. The Locust on top of it, grinding through. The metal crumbles. Wait. Oh, wait. Oh, my God! The SCVs get 1 shot by +3 Banelings. I never knew that. Future dips half the supply. A battle cruiser comes out. He can jump it. He's trying to hold it. He jumps to his forward base. That's how desperate this situation is. And John is a few steps away. The Locust not off cooldown yet. The jump not far enough. The Thor trying to hold the line. A Yamato cannon from downtown. The planetary desperately trying to hold. Another wave of Locusts to the front. A battle cruiser, but it's not gonna be enough. The planetary falls. The battle cruisers fall. The Terrans fall. He will retreat. I don't know how you fall from the sky. You just kind of explode, but Future is on his last legs. And they are these Thor's legs. It's just... this army cannot fight. I don't know where that battlecruiser just jumped to. He's desperately trying to pull... well, the 3 Thor hit squad. The last stand of Future. Almost 100,000 resources lost. He targets down the base, but at what cost? The battlecruiser driven back. Another one. Deja Vu trying to kill Lings at the 3rd. A handful of Lings gonna find another opportunity. Future almost down under the worker count he started with. And any second now, he may be forced to tap out to his American counterpart. As Jon Snow knew enough to grind through. He'll be taking it 2-1. The last battlecruiser stands tall, but not tall enough. GG! 24 minutes later, John holds on. Despite the cost efficiency of some of those battlecruisers, despite losing so many bases and infestors, he didn't give up, he didn't surrender, and now he's moving on to face, I believe, Neeb. Pretty good game. Pretty good game, I would say.